Hello, my beautiful light beings. Welcome to episode 3 of season 2 of the Magic Exists podcast with Danny Margot. I have a wonderful guest here. Her name is Morgan. She is one of my Divine Remembering students. She is 20 years old and currently goes to LMU in the Los Angeles area and has a Substack where she writes beautiful reflective philosophy type pieces about life. Welcome, Morgan.
Hi, I'm very excited. This is my first time doing something like this, so very
Yay! I love it. And I think it's a beautiful way to just like express your voice. I think all of us are like wanting to do that. And so, as a lot of you know, we are going to do some fun romance rom-com books because I love romance and fantasy. So if you're watching the video, the first book we're going to do is Summer Romance by Annabel Monaghan. So I'm just going to start with like a little synopsis of what the book is about, and then we're going to dive deep into our most like favorite parts and like kind of just how they resonate and relate to our daily lives. All right, so there's this girl, and she's 38, so she's not that much older than me, and she already has 3 kids, and she ends up getting divorced right after her mom passes away, and it feels like the story is showing and it picks up when her husband wants a divorce. And she's kind of lost herself through the process of like having kids, being with this person for how many years, and then losing her mom. So there's like just a lot of grief and like I said, losing herself. And so we get to this point and it starts when she meets this guy named Scooter, which there's spoilers here. So we're just gonna go for it because we're definitely gonna
yeah.
talk about everything. But Scooter is actually her best friend's little brother. And his name's Ethan, and they actually went to high school together. So it's a story of them dating, and they reveal quite early that the Scooter is Ethan. And they reveal her attraction and I guess like his attraction since he was like 14 years old. So it's very much a story of like he's looked up to her forever and like knows who she was since she was a kid, which oftentimes as like an inner child, it's like that's the part when we're like preconditioned, it's like just
Yeah.
who you are. And it feels like she was really authentically her, like even in high school, which I thought was really cool. And so it's pretty much their love story. And he is not from the local area. And so it's this very much dynamic where it's like the summer romance. She's like, well, I'm going to just date him and then it'll be over. But I've never dated someone in the last like decade, or I don't know how long her and her ex have been together. And what happens at the end is like he decides to move there for her and they reveal their love. And it's like she finds herself like coming back to herself, and it shows through the relationship with her dead mom, her children, her best friend, and then Ethan, and creating this like literally like most joyful loving life. And I just freaking loved it. I read it in like 7 hours.
I love that. I love that for you. I read it, I think, like, a year ago, like, last summer, and then I reread most of it yesterday again because I was like I was just gonna start reading and then I just finished it, and I was like, "Okay." It's just that good.
Yes, I
But
agree.
yeah, and I thought the meet cute kind of was, like, just, like, even better the second time, honestly, like, I think her not recognizing him just made it even more authentic,
Yeah,
like
you feel because like so what happens is they're at the dog park and he's there and she's like, "Oh, who's this hot guy?" And he very much like she says adorable, and stuff like this, and he's like, "Oh, you just called me adorable because your dog only pees on people who are adorable." So it's
wait,
like very like cute witty banter. But yeah, he recognizes her, but she doesn't know who he is. So I actually like how it's like that for a little bit.
yeah, me too, because he's kind of, like, that yearning and, like, he's always thought about her since, like, high school.
Yeah, and then she, like, happens to drop off, I guess, food at her six-year-old son's lunch, like, camp for summer, and he's there, like, skateboarding, which is, like, a big part of, like, what he does, and he sees her, he's like, "Hey, do you wanna go out with me?" So they go out, and it's, like, a super cute date, but he doesn't kiss her, and she's like, "Why?" And then she goes to her best friend's house for a barbecue, and he's there after she calls him sexy to her best friend, and then this friend, Franny, is like, "Wait, that's my brother Scooter." And she's like, "What?"
Which is so crazy. I love that.
Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is kind of like the ending where he pretty much like his whole life has been not in the city that they're in,
Mhm.
Beechwood. And so
Yeah.
he left. He didn't have a good childhood. He always felt like his parents wanted him to be this person, this star, this like football player, and he like didn't live up to that like expectation. So he left after high school, didn't really fit in high school, and created like this life of himself as an attorney outside. And so they show, snippets of his life outside, and he in the end makes a decision to move back to Beechwood for her, but for him
Yeah.
too.
That's exactly what I had underlined actually, was like, she said, "Thank you for doing this for everyone." And then he was like, "I did it mostly for myself." And I thought that was beautiful because I think the biggest theme throughout the whole thing was Allie coming back to herself and discovering who she is outside of her mom, outside of her past relationship. And so just the theme of, like, doing it for yourself was so cool and, like, tied back together.
Yeah, and I highlighted it as well, and so this is from Ethan's point of view. He's like, "I was wandering around Devon," which is the city he was currently living in, "trying to get it to feel like home again, trying to get back to being the person I was before you, and it just felt empty." And then, I moved there because it felt good. I realized that what felt good, though, was that it was a place where I could belong, but that's not enough anymore. I belong with you.
I know. I'm like, I just love romance.
Me too. And I kind of really resonated with this because for a lot of my life, I felt like, why would I change my life or do something for someone else, right? Like,
Mhm.
and so I had bought my condo like when I was 26, and I lived there for 2 years, and this was like 2019. I guess 2018, December 2018, my ex was like, "Hey, I'm moving to the beach. Do you want to move in with me?" And this was the first time like I'd ever had like that long of a relationship that someone was like asking me to move in with them. And I was like, at first, right away, I was like, no, I love my life. Like, why would I give up like going out on
Yeah.
weekends, hanging out with my friends, living with like a roommate? Like, why would I give that up? And that was so interesting that that was my reaction. And then I sat with it
Mm.
that night after he asked me. And then I was like, wait, I think my soul wants to go. And it was really interesting. It was like, whoa, I do have a really amazing life, but what if it could even be better?
Yeah.
And there was no logical reason for me to commute from Pasadena to the beach to Manhattan Beach, like, that's 3
Yeah.
hours away, but I was living in Glendale, and he wanted to move to Manhattan Beach, and it's crazy because then the pandemic happened a year later, and I was able to have that freedom after we broke up to, like, live at the beach. So it's like, oftentimes, like, you can be brought somewhere or change your life for someone, but, like, ultimately, I feel like it needs to come from you, right? Like, it wasn't necessarily like me and him were gonna be together forever, but there was something in that experience that I needed.
Yes. Yeah, that's so interesting because when I was first reading it, I was like, like, it kinda sucks that he has to, like, completely, like, change up his life for her." Like, and I was thinking about, like, for me, like, would I do that? I don't know if I would do that. But then, yeah, to hear it from, like, that perspective too, and, like, there really is a lesson in everything, and I think being drawn towards someone or something, like a place for a reason, like, there's something there for you. And, like, you can't really make the wrong decision, honestly, like, all decisions, I think, lead you to yourself.
And I think that comes like, the underlining theme of that is choice, right?
Mm,
Like, trusting your choice that, like, this experience, whatever it might be, is, like, for your highest good.
yes.
And like choosing the experience of who you
Yeah,
are within that, even if it's gonna lead to a breakup or not. Like, I didn't know that if we're gonna be
yeah,
together forever or not. Like, how would I know that? But me choosing him in that moment led to eventually breaking up and then meeting my husband now, who's the love of my life. So if I had not moved there during the pandemic, like, I don't think I would have met my current husband. So it's like it kinda leads you
basically, yeah.
there, even if it's, like, not quote unquote "the right decision."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's what I loved about her mindset the whole book too, like, at the beginning, it was just like, "Okay." it's just like a some romance. That's like all it is right now, and like that can be okay. And I think that's really beautiful. Just letting it be what it's gonna be.
Yeah, I love it. I it's interesting because you're 20 and so you're moving into the phase of like exploration and dating and love and like on the precipice of like what life has to offer. And I'm 36 and I just got married. And if you had like I started dating at 15 and that was like my first kiss. So if I had known then that I would not meet the love of my life, my partner forever, for 15 years later, I don't know if I would have like been okay, but it's now looking back, I was like, "Whoa, I needed all those experiences to learn who I was and learn who I was in partnership and understood that like love comes differently from different people and different ways and how I'm different with different people." And I really feel like I needed those 15 years to really appreciate, I think, my husband now. And I hope it's not like that for everyone. Obviously, like everyone's
Yeah.
divine timing, right? Like my best friend's celebrating her 10-year wedding anniversary. So like, like they're so
Yeah.
happy too.
Yeah, I'm like, my mom is, like, 52, and she's still trying to find, her soulmate, and, like, I think that's cool 'cause I think it's, like, if you were to know for a fact, like, "Okay, I know I'm gonna meet my person, like, my partner," then I feel like you can kinda just let go and live your life because you know that it's happening for you even if, like, you don't know when. So, I've been trying to, like, embrace that mindset, I guess, like, knowing that it's coming, but, like, just feeling so secure now, you know?
That is literally like the underlining energy of manifestation and just like surrendering to the divine universe. It's like, without a doubt, you're going to have this beautiful, amazing romance, maybe in Italy next year when you go.
Same.
But like, yeah, it's okay to just live right now and not have that in this exact moment because life is meant to be lived and I'm going to live in this moment.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, and, like, this moment is what connects you to everything else.
Yes. And I know you brought up your mom, which I am just like so inspired by your relationship. I'll just share so Morgan and her mom were both in my divine remembering container. And it was so beautiful to witness like really a new earth family dynamic, a new earth. Like you guys are best friends and really like inspire and learn from each other. And I feel like in the book, there is like a parallel, a similar parallel, but a
Uh,
little different where in the beginning of the book like the first half you think they're like best friends and it's like so amazing but then she begins to like unravel it through the relationship that her mom was actually projecting like her own fears to her and so like so she got pregnant and within like I think was it less than a year she married her ex Pete.
yeah,
Allie married Pete, and so it was kind of just happened because they got married, and then they had a kid, another one like within a year after that. So it just like snowballed into this. Like she needed help. She moved back from her mom, but like Pete was like not a good dad. He was like not a good
yeah,
husband, very focused, like very selfish. And I don't
yeah.
think he like realized he wanted a family and then was just like, oh, like, no, you're going to take care of that. And like
Mhm.
definitely judging her for not working anymore, like, not like holding her wifehood and motherhood like as enough. And it was a lot of like her mom I guess was like, "Oh, it's okay if he's like that," or like, "You don't have to speak up." And I don't know, like, if they go into depth, but it is very interesting that like her mom's biggest fear for Allie was like to be not be alone. And then Allie like held on to that and kind of was like living through her mom's projection.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I found interesting too through the reread is I kinda forgot about that element of, like, at the beginning, it very much seems like, okay, like, yeah, that's her best friend, like, she's basically, like, talking to her mom throughout the whole book about, like, updates on, like, what's happening, which I thought was so
So
precious.
sweet.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, like, finding who she is outside of that, because I think I was thinking about that in terms of my own relationship with my mom is, like, discovering who I am outside of her because we are best friends, and I think I um I really value her opinion on things, and it's like, okay, well, I don't always need to have her opinion, you know? And we were actually talking about this recently because I think study abroad is going to be like a really good thing for me to like, discover who I am outside of her, but also I got like 2 tattoos last week, and one of them I like decided on like a few weeks prior. And normally I always talk to her like about what I'm gonna get. And for my finger tattoo, she was like, maybe like wait until Mercury retrograde is over. So like you can really make sure you want to do it. And I was like, yeah, okay, like I'm gonna do that. Even though I knew I wanted it, I was like, I know she's right. I'm gonna wait. For this other tattoo though, I was like, I think I just need to do something completely for me without, like, second guessing it and without, like, getting her opinion on it. So I was just, like, not gonna tell her, but then I ended up telling her.
What
And
did you get?
I was just like, "Oh, it's, like, angel."
Oh my gosh, it's so
I
beautiful.
know, I was like it's, like, my honestly, like, one of my new favorite tattoos. 'Cause I'm just like the font to me is, like, so pretty, and
Yeah,
I
the
feel
font.
so I was like, I just needed to do that for myself, you know? And it felt good to, like, be confident in a decision without needing someone else, you know?
Yeah, and that's so beautiful. Like you're creating your own agency, but both of you still respect each other's decisions, that you have your own agency. And yeah, I think that's so beautiful because in the end of like the book, she finally reveals like and when she's talking to her mom, and like her mom is like kind of whether it's intuition or she's just like kind of thinking of what her mom would tell her. She tells her, "Hey, like your worst fear is actualized. I'm alone, but I'm the happiest I've ever been." And it's sometimes like the thing you fear that is the worst thing that you can ever happen is often the portal to, like, the most freedom and success and joy.
That's beautiful, yeah, I fully, fully agree. Yeah.
Okay, so I wanna talk a little bit about, like I know a lot of rom-coms have this, like, idea where, like, the man has been obsessed or in love with, like, the female character forever, but this
Yeah.
one was really impactful because he actually says and quotes some of the things that she said in her, like, valedictorian high school speech, and so one of the things is, like, "You are the architect of your own experience," and this is like a really big theme throughout the book because literally her just being her biggest soul expression and sharing what was on her heart literally changed Ethan's life. And he had that voice in his mind. Like he was using this identity of her in his mind to like increase or like evolve his own identity and
Mhm.
use that as like a baseline to continue to grow and evolve and expand. And I just think it's so beautiful, not only that, like, when that he was able to actualize his love for her, in the end, because obviously if you have that like such a strong desire like that, there's obviously something there, right? Your soul is like
Mhm.
calling you into something more. But second is that like what you being alive like can change someone's life. Like you just speaking your truth and sharing from your heart can literally change someone's life. And obviously, like, this is something I've thought about of like my platform, but obviously, like, this person wrote this book about this has obviously been her experience as well. And so I think it's just like so transformative and beautiful.
Yeah, I love to think about that too when I'm, like, super overwhelmed and I'm like, "There's so many things happening in the world, like, how can I, like, help?" But I think, yeah, just being that energy and, like, even one person, like, talking to one person, it's like a huge domino effect too, and, like, that's so cool.
Yeah, I think it's so beautiful. Okay, so in terms of rom coms, I know a lot of them can be what's the word they use? Like smutty?
Yeah.
Like, what's the word? Sexy?
Yeah, yeah,
So
they
this
use
book
yeah,
they have a closed door. So the other word is closed door romance, where like they
yeah.
don't actually have like they have sex, but they don't show explicitly like what's happening within the scene. For me, I actually didn't mind the closed door like concepts in this. Like I read other books like by Sarah Adams, what is it, Rule Book and Cheat Sheet, where they were completely closed door, and I was like, there was no even like kissing, and I'm like, okay, well, I need to see like
I
some
know.
romance.
Yeah.
But this one, like, they, like, made out and stuff, but then she did do, like, the closed door thing. So like, for me, there are some books that go overboard and they're just, like, too much, like,
Yes.
sex and, like,
Yeah.
descriptions. But this one I thought actually had, like, a good sweet spot. I could have probably used, like, one scene that would have been cool, but this was actually, like, perfect for me.
I was gonna say, I'm like, normally I have a hard time with books that have like absolutely nothing because I'm like, it just feels like, I don't know. I feel like I can't like fully get into it. Like that's the problem with like young adult books is like it's just too young adult. But yeah, I honestly didn't mind it here though, because I think it's like their connection, you could feel it even without all of that other detail. And it was like interesting contrast because I'm reading this other book right now that is like the smuttiest thing you've like ever read. And
What
it's
book
like
is it?
I think it's called Bridesmaids for Hire
Okay, and I haven't heard of
by
it.
like Megan Quinn.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes, I have heard of it. Yes.
Um and so it was kind of just like but too much. It was like jarring. I was like, okay, this is like kind of taking away from it. But yeah, I think this was like a good balance. Maybe it could have used like a little bit, but
I
I
love
didn't
what you
even
said. Yeah, about, like, the feeling. I think what I want from a book is to, like, feel into their reality, and
yes.
that's, like, the highs and the lows, like, it's like I'm going through a journey, I'm experiencing their reality of the anger and the sadness, and, like, I'll cry when I'm reading a book because I feel the heartbreak,
Yeah.
whether I'm resonating with my own experiences or I'm, like, just feel what she's feeling in the book, and so for me, books can be an escape, but also just, like, an expression of energy. And I
I
think
like
it's just like
that.
so I think this book did that really well with, like, expressing emotions that we didn't need all, like, the sex and stuff.
Yeah, I feel like that's so interesting because I think like I get so triggered when people are saying, "Oh, books are just escapism if it's like fiction." But I'm like, I've learned a lot, I think, through books.
It's all about intention,
Yeah.
is what I think. So,
Yeah.
anything you do, like
Yeah.
watching TV, going on a bike ride, going on a car ride, like going out to eat, a lot of different foods, like anything you do, it can be escapism, drinking alcohol, right? This can or
Mm,
it can be soul exploration and just joy and just
yeah.
simply being human.
Like doing things just for pleasure, like that can be okay. Because I think it's easy to have to like make everything into a lesson when it's just like, no, I can just enjoy the book and still get something out of it.
And that's actually like leaning into the joy without the judgment is actually like what we're meant to do. Like, obviously, if you're reading books like nonstop and you're literally not doing anything else, like, obviously, there's like a problem. But like,
Yeah.
like I'm working, I hang out with my husband. Oh my God, I almost said boyfriend.
What?
I work out, like you're going to school, you do family events, like, and then like you do other things, and then you do songwriting and poetry and all these beautiful things. Like, it's not just one thing. It's like I want to enhance this experience that this book has and just like live in that world. And honestly, like I bring it out into this reality. Like that's how present and reflective I am. Like if I am feeling this heightened like love, I don't know, like I even feel like more love for my husband. And
Oh,
it's
I love
like,
that.
yeah, and it's just like it's fun.
Yeah, and like things can just be fun. Love that.
Yes. All right, Morgan, what's your favorite scene of the whole book?
Oh my gosh, now I'm stressed. I'm like, what's my favorite scene? Um, I feel like I have to find it. I feel like one of the things I tabbed has to be one of my favorite scenes. I mean, I really liked I don't know if it was their first date. It was when they went to like was it a baseball game?
Yeah, that was their first date when she didn't know he was Scooter yet. He was just Ethan.
Yeah, I thought that was just like so precious. I felt like I was there. I was like I'm like the third wheel that's just like tagging along with you guys. But yeah, I feel like maybe that
It was really sweet because It was her first time out. It was her first time,
Yeah.
like, doing something alone without her 3 children. It was her first date.
Yeah. I found the page. I specifically tabbed the part where he, like Ethan shells the peanuts and hands them to her, which I thought was, like, such a small little detail, but I was like, "I love that." Like, I don't know, like, little cute things, like, I'm noticing that. And yeah, what you said about, like, doing having, like, an outing without her kids was, like, a huge thing for me because 'cause I've just been thinking about that a lot recently. I'm, like, really close to one of my friends who's, like, a new mom, and I think, like, seeing her trying to have her own identity outside of her kid is, like, a huge thing, and so seeing her journey with that and, like, having the space to explore herself and not need to be with her kid, like, every second of the day, I think was, like, a hard adjustment, but also cool because like, she deserves time for herself as well, and, like, she deserves love.
Yes. Yes, I love that. She deserves time for herself and she deserves love. I think that was really important. It's interesting because Fanny just had a kid, her best friend, Allie's best friend, and Scooter slash Ethan's
Mhm.
sister. And I feel like they kind of dropped the ball on that relationship because I feel like they didn't actually have like one hangout in the whole book. It was just like she would go to the diner, but then other people were there or they would text. And I was like,
Yeah,
if you're like her best friend, like you're not hanging, like there was like, I wish there was more, I think, with Franny.
yeah, I agree. I think you were definitely missing that element, and it also just, like, felt kinda funny to me how, like, Ethan is, like, Franny's brother, but, like, Allie didn't like, fully realize it like, it was just, like, funny how it, like, took that long for her to, like, realize that it was him. Because I feel like if
Yeah.
it's, like, your best friend, like, I think you would, like,
Yeah.
know what your brother, like, currently looks like, but,
Yeah.
like,
And I know she hadn't seen him in 20 years, but I'm sure there's like pictures somewhere
pictures
of what he looks like now, like, or Instagram exists. I don't know.
and I thought it was, like, once he said that he was, like, a lawyer too, I thought it would've, like, clicked for her.
I That's when it clicked for me. I was like, "Oh, wait, I think this is Franny's brother." And I like Googled it before like it
I
happened,
was
but
trying
yeah, I love that. And yeah, Franny just like even when she found out like that it was him, she's like, "Wait, you just called that guy sexy. It's my
I know.
brother." And then it was just like that was it. And then it was
Yeah,
like and then she caught them making out in the pantry and then it was just like fine. Like I'm like, "Okay, like I would have loved a little bit more there, but I
yeah.
did love their family, the Hogans, the parents and like their fun like they are kind of central points of the city, like owning the inn and the diner and it sounded like such a beautiful town, like, on the
I know.
water.
Fair.
I wanna live there, yeah.
Yeah, and then what's her name? Was it Phyllis?
Yes, the 90-year-old neighbor.
Yeah, I thought, like, that part was interesting too, just, like, her being kind of like a little reoccurring character, and then, like, she ended up dying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought it
Yeah.
was sweet because I guess there was 2 houses that were, like, sisters never got married, and so the houses are, like I don't know, they described it, like, I think 3 feet away from each other, so they're, like, very close, but there's, like, a gate that goes in between, and so this lady, like, is taken care of by Allie, and she breaks her breakfast and stuff, and then when she passes away, Ethan buys it, and so I think that's my favorite scene at the end when, like, the kids give Ethan, like, permission to ask their mom out, even though obviously they're, like, already dating, and then they just live next door to each other and, like, date, and then they're like, "You should take down the gate so we can just have one big backyard," and then, like, Ethan crawls into, like, his lap, and it's just, like, such a beautiful, happy family, and I'm like, "This is she deserves this. This is, like, what she's been wanting, like, this whole time."
Yeah. Yeah, and that, like, reminds me too, there was, like, one part I think it was honestly a conversation with her mom. Oh, yeah. I think it's on page, like, 13. Mom, like, just is always saying, like, what else? What else? Like, you can have all of it. And that's what I that's like a huge thing I loved throughout the whole book too, is like, what else? What else? Like, dreaming big and like to see all of her dreams come true, even though like she couldn't even like imagine it being that good, is is so cool. Like, I think we should all embrace that.
That's a beautiful message. And just for background, she was wearing sweats. They like describe her as just like she was in a trance wearing sweats for 2 years since her mom died, and then like her husband, she was separated for a year. And like the one day she decides to put on clothes, and becomes conscious, quote unquote, then that's when she meets Ethan. And so it's kind of like this energy of like, yes, have the vision of whatever you want, whatever you could dream of, but then take a line to action. Like, don't go out in
Yes.
sweats, right? Like, okay,
Yes.
put on something nice.
Yes.
Or like do one thing that's going to lead you to the next thing, but you don't always know how it's going to work out. You just know that one next step. And I think that's enough.
Yeah, it is enough. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So, what would you give this book? What would you rate it? 1 out of
Well,
5 stars.
I actually like looked at my rating like when I rated it a year ago, and I
Are you
gave
on
it,
Goodreads?
yeah.
Okay, you gotta add me.
Oh, you have an account too?
Mhm.
Okay. I gave it 4 stars when I first read it. Upon reading it again, I think I'd give it 4.5. 'Cause, like, I save my 5 stars for, like, books that, like, changed my life, but, like, 4.5 is, like, there's nothing wrong with it. I had, like, a great time reading it.
I think I agree. 5 for me are books I'm gonna, like, reread forever, and the characters are in my mind, like,
Yes.
forever, which there
Yes.
are definitely a few that I have. This one, I think a 4.5, like, almost there. Like, I'll probably keep this book unless I lend it out and someone, like, accidentally takes it, like, I'm not heartbroken, but if it was a 5 book, I'm like, I'm not lending that
Yeah.
to anyone,
No.
that's my book."
No.
But what I've been doing on Goodreads is I forget really quickly. Like I was even this morning, like I finished this on Wednesday and I already forgot like the kids' names. So I had to like refresh. And so what I've been doing is writing a little like review about the
Mm.
book on Goodreads just for me to like remember like what I felt emotionally about it so that if I do go back, I could be like, oh, yes, I remember this. Like, and I kind of like relive it from my point of view.
I sometimes try to do that, and I was hoping I did that for this, but I didn't. I was like, no, but yeah. Have you read any other books by her?
Yes. So
Mm.
I've seen her live. I went to one of her book talks and
Oh.
it was for a love story in Santa Monica and it was packed. It was like sold out. I like had to stand in the back, but she's wonderful. Like she talks about the process. There's another one in Brentwood coming out, I think in like May 1st or 4th.
Oh,
Um,
really?
that she's also doing it. It's in one of her new books. I forget what it's called, but like her process is like really cool where she like thinks of the name and then who is that person, and she grew up with brothers, so it's like a lot of like the families have like brothers or siblings where it's like a crazy family.
Mhm.
So yeah, a love story I read by her. I read this one. I think there's like one or two other ones, but I love Annabel Monaghan.
Yeah, I read, my friend was begging me to read Nora Goes Off Script, and I honestly did not like it.
Is that the one
So
with Leo where she's like he's like a movie star and ends up living in her like back
yeah,
house?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I read that one after reading this, so I had, like, high expectations.
Yeah.
I loved this one, and then the other one just felt too, like, insta-lovey for me.
I think it's a shorter book too.
Oh, yeah, it's, like, I don't even think
This
300
one's
pages.
thick. Like, what is this
Yeah.
is like 300 pages. The other one's probably like 100.
Yeah, it was really short, I think, yeah, but so I was like, "This one is her best." Even though
This
I've
one,
only
I agree. Yeah, I think this one's her best, then a love story. So I'm excited to read her other stuff. She's magical and she's like young. I feel like she's like late 40s or early 50s too. So
I
I feel like she's got a
yeah,
lot of magic in ahead of her.
I read, like, in the author's note that, something about, like, um, I think her sister went to, like, Marymount High School,
Oh
and
yeah.
I was like, "Wait, this is, like, too local," like Like, I have so many friends that went to Marymount. So
Oh,
I
I
just
didn't
thought
even know that's a high school. Is that out here in the South Bay area?
no, well, it's more like LA.
Okay.
I think it's right by UCLA, like, right
Okay.
next to UCLA pretty much. Um, but, like, still super close. I'm like,
Yeah.
I
I
didn't
think
know
she's
that. Oh,
originally from LA,
okay.
and then I think she moved. I don't think she lives here anymore, but that's why she always has, like, a lot of book talk stuffs out here. Maybe she is still here, I'm not quite sure, I
Yeah,
don't
that's
remember.
so cute. I feel like I need to go to more
I'll send you
book
the link for her
yeah.
for her. Yeah, a couple of the girls in my book club, they always, like, post, any local things, so I think it's cool.
Well, that's so fun.
We should check out Pages in Manhattan Beach to see if they have anyone.
Oh, yeah, I love Pages, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's a bookstore in Manhattan Beach, super cute.
I was trying to work there for so long. I was like, "Please, please." Like, emailing them, like,
Should they call you back?
no. I never even, like, got an interview because like, they just, like, have their people that, like, work there, and it's like, you know,
That makes
that's
sense.
it.
It's, like, curated. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Morgan. This was so delightful to just like have a combo about just the books we love to read. I'm going to link Morgan's YouTube and Substack here if you're curious about just her beautiful reflections about life.
Yeah.
And it's such an honor to co-create this space with you.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me to do this. This is, like, out of my comfort zone, but also, like, I really wanted to do a podcast. It was super fun, and I always love talking to you.
Oh, thank you. Yes, you were great. It was amazing. Thank you so much and have a good rest of your day.